What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing tonight? Decided to hop in. We were gonna do a podcast this evening, and it's got postponed until tomorrow. So I figured I'd still use the time and come on to help find the others and see if any of you guys are out there and looking to chat. Figured I'd test the waters. And yeah, we ran a poll in the community section of our YouTube channel to kind of feel out what the best time is for these type of things, and I think I'm hitting the crossing over point of the most popular answer into the second popular answer. So I'm hoping I get some people in here. If you are watching, just go ahead and say what's up in the live chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know if you got any questions. I'm going to post this to our Discord real quick. Let's see here. But yeah, if you're in the chat right now, go ahead and say what's up. Thank you for tuning in, and let me know where you're tuning in from and what you're up to tonight. Tonight is Thursday the 18th, and it's currently 7:30 where I'm at. I'm not sure where you all are. I'm just posting this in our Discord real quick. Yeah, so I just wanted to hop on and see what's up. I went camping this past weekend, kind of. I guess you could call it camping. I had the better way of saying it is I was outside a lot, and I was outdoors in nature. So that was awesome. I did that this past weekend, and I've just been kind of riding that good energy wave into this week and planning things out and being more active. And so yeah, we were going to do a podcast episode tonight. We were going to record one with Chris, who is one of the shamans that we spoke with. He wanted to come on to talk about UFOs, and he has significant experience in that. So we're still going to do it. We just pushed it back a day. Ruben's solo parenting currently, so we're still going to rock that out though tomorrow. So be on the lookout. That should be coming out Saturday. I still do have to publish the audio of the CryptoCast. I'm going to do that probably tonight, as long as everything recorded properly. I'll do that tonight. If not, I'll probably be a delayed release. But for sure, hopefully this Saturday will be the UFO episode. Josh William, what up, buddy? How are you doing this evening? So we'll see. I've been really looking forward to the UFO talk just because it's something that I feel a lot of people have been asking for, and there's an audience for it. And I don't know. I didn't want to bring on just some guy that kind of was winging it, you know. So we brought in Chris, or we're going to bring in Chris, and I do believe he has some significant knowledge on it all, and documented cases and not just a lot of talking out of your ass. So that'll be super interesting to hear his point of view. And then we still have another episode planned with our good friend Adam about Wim Hof. And as always, if anybody has topics or guests or anything like that they want to introduce to the podcast, go ahead and reach out to us. Multiple ways of communicating with us. Just reach out. Let us know who you want us to reach out to, or let us know if you want to share your story, or if you're writing a book or anything like that, and we'll have you on and get chatting. Ruben and I have to do a solo podcast together sometime soon. I don't know when we're gonna do that, but I feel like it's due in the timing. But I figured I'd come on here, kind of give a channel update, I guess, and see if anybody's looking to talk and chat. Figured I'd give it 10-15 minutes, see if people hop on. I know it's probably dinner time for a lot of people that have families, so I'm in no rush really, but since we were already going to do a podcast, I figured I might as well still use the time for the channel. So if you are here though watching, let me know and hit me up in the chat if you got any questions or topics you want to talk about. I'm all ears. My room is without air conditioning right now, and I believe it's 80 something outside, so don't mind if I'm sweating or drinking a ton of water. But I mentioned this a little bit ago, but yeah, I went camping this past weekend, and it was just awesome. I was outdoors a lot this past weekend. Just had the opportunity to kind of reset in nature and put down the technology and just refocus what my intentions are, going towards goals or really just day-to-day life even, just rethinking it all and unplugging from distractions and kind of just reconnecting with nature and reconnecting with our like inner self, I guess you could say, if you want to kind of over complicate the issue or the topic. But in reality, it was just getting outside and putting away technology, and it was awesome. A lot of physical activity, a ton of exercise, and just good time with family and loved ones. What did everybody else do this weekend though, this past weekend? Or is there anything people are looking forward to with Father's Day coming up? I'm not sure if I'm doing anything for that. But yeah, let me know in chat if you're tuning in. I'd love to hear from you all. If not, I'll probably hop off in like, I don't know, 9 minutes. I'll give it 15 minutes. But if we get a good dialogue going, I'd love to kind of have this be my evening tonight, and hopefully yours as well. I'd love to talk to more people. I probably should have gone on a little bit earlier, but I mentioned earlier a couple of minutes ago that we ran a community. I'm actually going to link it here too. We ran a community poll to figure out what the best time to do live chats for participation wise, and came up, I believe that we were doing all right, let me grab it real quick. It came out to be 52% was early evening, so 4 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I should have hopped on a little bit earlier, but the timing of our the podcast that we were going to record was 7. So let me grab this link if I can, so that you all can vote. So yeah, I posted it in chat. You want to click that, and you want to vote on. We're trying to find the best time that we get participation. We like the viewership, but live chats aren't the same if it's just me going on or if it's just Ruben going on. We did do the one live chat where it was him and I just going back and forth, as well as fielding questions. Like, that was awesome. We'll probably do that again. I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of our new him and I podcast format. I think that would be well received. I mean, it kills two birds with one stone, because you're not only going live, which is something that we want to do more often, but it's also recording a podcast and getting that community engagement. But yeah, this past weekend went fishing, played a lot of sports, just got physically active, and honestly, it was the first thing that I've done since March, I think, where it was like a dramatic shift in environment, which was desperately needed. But for everybody that's viewing right now, I appreciate you viewing, and let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know if there's any topics or questions or anything like that. Do you want to go back and forth about? I'm an open book right now, and I love to hear what anyone has to say. Probably roll this for another 5-10 minutes and see if we can get some back and forth going. Let me know how your week's going, though. Let me know how your summer's going. It's weird that it's summer, right? It doesn't feel like it really, with everything kind of shut down. At least where I'm at. So, it is summer, though. We have to remind ourselves it's summer. And if you're new to Help Find the Others, or if you're new to the stream, we've just been trying to do these more frequently and just go back and forth and take questions and get to know our viewers a little bit better, or get to know the community a bit better. I think that's really the best way of saying it. Josh William, thanks again for tuning in, man. What's your thoughts on nootropics? I'm actually a big fan of them. I've experimented with them in the past. I don't know the definition and like the terminology of it all. Kind of, I'm not entirely familiar with. But I have purchased some. I have like, it's just, I look at it, I guess, in a broad scale. A lot of people look at it as like Noopept, I believe is the one, and there's a couple that are like the nootropics. I look at it as just kind of a supplement thing. What about you? Do you take anything that you approve of, or that benefits you? I've tried Phenibut. Let me look at my little pile of stuff over here. Phenibut, reishi mushroom, niacin. Trying to think. I was really into it for a while there. I was like looking into different ways of helping out the brain and helping out thought patterns, and just like increasing brain activity. But now I think it just boils down to vitamins occasionally, staying hydrated. It's kind of boring, right? But what about you, Josh? Do you take anything? Any thoughts on the protests? Oh, Burzum, what's up, buddy? How are you doing? Any thoughts on the protests? I think BLM is bullcrap. I guess that's the one topic I really don't want to talk about. I don't want to offend. I don't want to disrespect anybody's opinions, you know. But I mean, living in a major metropolitan area and seeing it firsthand is, or at least feeling it firsthand, has brought a new perspective to me. You take Nero gum. It's okay. More of a caffeine effect is all I notice. Let me take a look at, what is that? What is Nero gum? I drink coffee as well, or like energy drinks, caffeine, if that's considered something. I've also taken L-theanine. I'm sure that's a pretty common one. Oh, okay. Nero gum. It has caffeine, L-theanine, and B vitamins. I pretty much take all three of those, you know? You've tried Phenibut, phenylprazotam, Noopept, Dynanine. I'm butchering all these names. B-complex, multivitamin. I've taken B-complex and Phenibut. I have not taken Noopept. I know that is one of the main ones. Do you have good results on those, Josh? Or do you kind of just experiment with them and just see what happens? I'm not opposed to trying more things, and especially nootropics. I think it's somewhat new, right? It's like a ton of people looking for an alternative answer to whatever ailments they have, and that's one that's pretty readily available. But I used to take I used to be prescribed Adderall medication, and I don't know if I was addicted to it or the feeling of it or something, but there was a time where I was trying to repeat and replicate those effects, and I dove into nootropics for a while. Totally understand not talking about. Yeah, it's just a polarizing topic, and I think with this channel, like, we're trying to bring people together. We're not trying to divide at all. Now, if I start my own channel someday, you can ask me there, and I'll let you know. I've also tried ashwagandha, rhodiola, rosea, icarin. I have no idea of that last one. I've heard about ashwagandha. My buddy's taken it, actually. and he's had pretty decent results. I think he had bad anxiety with like big caffeine amounts, and I think he was taking it to kind of offset that. I need to follow up with him though, because that was pretty recent, probably in the last year. I'll have to see what he's into nowadays, because I know he takes a good amount of caffeine in the morning along with like a pre-workout. So I think his goal was to kind of get rid of the jitters. For me, I've used L-theanine for that, and it works all right. I've realized with L-theanine though that it can keep me up at night if I don't do it too early in the morning, or if I don't exert enough energy in the day. You used to take pine pollen, and that stuff gave you hella nice energy effect. Dude, I've never heard of pine pollen. I didn't even know that's a readily available thing. Hold up. Pine pollen. Is it like an extract? Oh, it's supposed to be, you can use it for testosterone. Pine pollen. Interesting. I'll have to check that out. Is it a kind of a caffeine boost, or is it like a juiced up boost of energy? I'll have to see what that's all about. You take no pept at around 10 milligrams per dose. Gives you a good 3-hour boost in mental performance. I'll have to try that out. I think the last time I was about to pull the trigger on some, the cost of it deterred me, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. I just remember there was something in the way of like. Also with these things, I normally research them, or I always research them in depth, and I'll research them to the point that like I read the bad reviews, you know, and then I'm just like, why am I gonna buy this? Somebody else is saying it's snake oil type thing, and I mean that definitely probably deters me from trying out new things or whatever. So I'll give this a go, especially because you're bringing it up again. So it says the dosage, standard dose is 10 milligrams after a meal. Okay. Have you ever taken Adderall or anything like that? Is it a similar effect? Picorin is a flavonoid that I derived from for horny goatweed. It is a vasodilator and an antioxidant for the body and the brain. That sounds quite nice. Sounds like something that people could use. Hold up. You guys are having me Google everything nowadays. Or, well, not nowadays, on this stream at least. Interesting. And it says here that it's been used over thousands of years. That's crazy. Boost your testosterone, great for athletes and bodybuilders, and then also for sexual energy, blood flow. Interesting, dude. Is that something that you can get off like Amazon, or is that something that you have to kind of make yourself? I checked Amazon, doesn't seem like anything comes up. It's just horny goatweed, but pine pollen is the yellow powder that comes from pine trees. It's supposed to be like a testosterone booster, but look at its vitamin profile. It has like 200 plus trace minerals too. I've had bad store-bought pollen though. I'd recommend harvesting some during the season. Oh yeah, that absolutely. It's still crazy to me that people have thought about like harvesting and taking that, you know? It's incredible. It has a vitamin profile too. I'm looking at, there's like a USDA one that I see on Amazon. It only has a couple vitamins in it, but I'm gonna have to do more research on that and try that out. Yeah, I think like the store-bought approach to some of these things can really create a bad result. You know, it's like uncharted waters, and these stores will take a chance on some distribution company that might not know what they're getting into, you know. So you kind of have to go online or just source it naturally, like you said, and just find, if you do it online, find a respected source, you know, that has a good reputation, good reviews, I found the same issues with I mean, like Phenibut or anything like that. Like, it's better than just buying it at a head shop and taking it for what the guy behind the counter says it is, you know. If you use Nopept, is it Nupept or Nopept? I feel like it's Nupept. If you use Nupept, make sure to take it with a B complex, and that is nothing like Adderall. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Could you describe the feeling of it? Is it just quicker thoughts or increased memory, or what have you noticed? Is it similar to coffee, I guess? I'm trying to grasp at the idea of what it could be. You can get Icarin at any grocery store. You get yours from Maoi. If it works, it works. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. If it works, it works. I just like, I don't know, ever since like I mean, I was raised with the internet, you know, so I just kind of always go there first and always go there to be my source of knowledge on it. You know, I trust, like you've taken it, right? So I would ask you where to get it from and whatever. Feels like all gunk has been cleared from your brain. That's awesome. I gotta see let me see real quick what the actual ingredients are in Nupept. Because all it is a combination, right? It's a blend. Pretty sure it's just a blend of some chemicals, I believe. Or is it its own thing? Oh, okay, it's the brand name for this. I can't pronounce that. N-phenylacetyl L. Yeah, I'm just gonna butcher that. Interesting though. Similar effect to paracetam. That's another one I've heard of. Paracetam. That's it. Like I was on a couple years back when I was doing like the research on nootropics, and you know, before I kind of made any purchase in that regard, I went to r/nootropics and r/supplements and just kind of dove into the anecdotal stories of it all. Hey Adam, what's up, dude? Caught you at work again? Yeah, dude, I just decided to hop in. I actually have to reach back out to you now that I'm back and I got internet again. I'll email you back probably over the weekend or early next week. But yeah, back in it. We were supposed to record a podcast episode tonight, so that got postponed until tomorrow evening. So I was like, I might as well just hop in and see who's on. Thanks for tuning in, though, man. I hope you're having a good night at work so far. Oh, Nupept is a Russian compound. Interesting. I had no idea. Yeah, it says when you look it up on some of these like MD sites, it just says like mild cognitive boost, psychostimulatory effect. Yeah, I mean, there's no real studies out about it, right? So you kind of have to go off anecdotal evidence for that type of thing. Yo, yeah, you're working at a restaurant, things are getting busier. Yeah, dude, I'm in Chicago. We went to the first restaurant for the first time and experienced how that went. We had outdoor seating, had to wear masks until you get to the table. It was pretty cool though. I mean, I was happy to support local business and get back out there, and we celebrated a birthday. So I don't know, you can make it your own, you know. You just forget about you do the mask stuff, you do the precautionary stuff, and then you sit down and you forget about it. It's just a regular meal, you know. I'm happy things are getting busier for you though. I have some family members in the service industry, and they were kind of in that struggle boat, you know, trying to figure out if they need to look for a different job or whatnot. But things are picking up for them as well. Job descriptions and job responsibilities are definitely changing in that regard, but I'm happy. Hopefully you're getting more tips or however you make your money hourly. If it feels similar to the racetams, but its effects are immediate. That's awesome. I'll definitely have to give that a buy, Josh. Is it what's a good source to get it from? I guess I might as well ask you now, right? Because on Amazon, it looks like all you can do is buy the ingredients separately. But I'd love to hear, where to get it from, if there's an online place to get it from, or if there's a blend you know of, I guess. Also, I mentioned this earlier, but my room is like 80 plus degrees right now, so please, if I'm sweating or whatever, don't, it's nothing. Please bear with me here. Things are toasty. Burzum, I have not smoked salvia. I'm not entirely opposed to it, especially with Kenny being a good friend of mine and a good friend of ours, and he's a very big proponent of it. So I can't really speak on it other than stories that I hear. How about you, Burzum? Have you dabbled in the salvia? Have I ever tried L-L-carnitine or S? I have not tried either one of those compounds, Josh. What are those? Are they separate, or are you supposed to take them together? And Nootropics Depot is the place. Oh, okay. I knew that. I don't know why my mind slipped. That's where I got like L-theanine and a bunch of different compounds separate. John the Baptist, what's up, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're having a great night tonight. Have you ever experienced DMT? I have not. It's not something that, well, first of all, I haven't had the opportunity. It's not something that's come across. I haven't really sought it out, or it hasn't been presented to me. But I don't know. I haven't. It's like I haven't crossed that bridge yet. I don't know if I would say yes or no to it. Probably no at the current moment. I almost always want to veer towards mushrooms for some reason. I have that inclination within me. I don't know why. I haven't had a horrific, I shouldn't say that, knock on wood. I haven't had a bad trip, even the bad trips that have come from mushrooms have produced great things afterwards. And even if they were out of control during them, they were teaching moments, and like lessons learned, that's for sure. Although all that's pretty cliche, it's kind of spot on. You definitely want a sober friend to spot you for salvia. I did a lot of salvia in high school. You should use a torch style lighter, higher heat lighter, because the effect is way stronger. Yeah, Burzum, have you seen Kenny's video where he did the live trip? I think he torched a bowl, and that video just freaked me out. He got like caught in a loop kind of, and I've had that similar experience on mushrooms, or even just after like smoking too many dabs even. The loop, right? It's just like the pattern of physical behavior that just like you feel like you keep fighting it, but it's still coming. It's damn near impossible to explain, but in Kenny's video you can certainly see it happening to him. And I don't know, it kind of scared me. The first time in high school I was actually talked to about salvia was my buddy who did it over the weekend. I think this was like sophomore, junior year in high school, and he said that he smoked it and he like turned into a cow. So I don't know. Ever since then, I kind of just been like wary of it, right? Obviously, back then there was no responsible use. It was just like, oh, smoke this, dude, and he ends up thinking he's a cow. I have spores if you decide you want them. Spores of what? Mushrooms, or probably spores of mushrooms? Fortunately, right now, I don't know. I think the opportunity for people to grow their own mushrooms is popping up more frequently, or maybe I'm noticing it more in like our Discord or whatever. I see a ton of people dabbling into harvesting their own, and it seems to be a very simple process. So it's pretty exciting that instead of waiting on a dealer or banking on some shady situation of a friend who knows somebody that has them, you can just make it in your house, right? I think that's how it works. It's like 10 minutes or so of the peak of an acid or shroom trip. It's hilarious to watch people too. Yeah, I mean, what? That's a YouTube search. That's a favorite YouTube search. Salvia trip outs of people. A lot of people like watching those. For me, honestly, they scare me. It's a little bit frightening, like to automatically lose control like that. Just like DMT, right? Is like kind of spooky to me. Whereas like it's not gentle, but the lengthy come up, I guess you could say, of like LSD or a mushroom gives you a little second to kind of like prepare and know it's coming, even if it does hit you right in the face. You have 6 or so strains. Nice, man. Hopefully you experiment with some of them during this quarantine. John the Baptist, though, have you experienced DMT? I'd love to hear your stories. And thanks to everybody for tuning in and talking to me. I really appreciate it. I always just come on with the goal of making it to 15 minutes, and we're at 30 right now, and I really appreciate everybody in the live chat. And if you haven't chimed in yet, don't be afraid. Just say what's up, say where you're tuning in from. You don't really have to have a question. I'd just like to see who's all a part of this tonight. But I do hope everybody's having a great night. Also, if anybody ever has any insights or feedback about the podcast or the videos that Ruben creates, or any ideas on how to keep going with the channel, go ahead and let me know, man. I'd really appreciate it. Mushrooms are edible DMT, not objectively true 100%, but the visionary landscape of each molecule is hardly discernible. Yeah, I was going to actually say that, John. I was actually going to say, like, no, I haven't smoked DMT, right? Or DMT crystal or whatever. I have not done that. But if you take a large amount of mushrooms, I feel like you're entering similar realms and similar thought patterns. So I do agree with you. I just like, I veer away from saying that because I know a lot of people are purists in what they're taking. So I wanted to make sure that you weren't just a diehard DMT guy, right? And DMT is DMT and mushrooms isn't that. So, but yeah, no, I'd like to think that I experienced something like that. Not as intense or not as instant. But I think, yeah, I think there's something similar, or at least there are similarities to draw between the two that I could see. But then again, I don't know. So I have no reference point other than mushrooms. But yeah, we're at 35 minutes right now. Probably go for another until an hour or whatever if people have more questions or want to keep going. Love to hear some more people's experiences with nootropics or whatever substances they're getting into, or just like whatever life is throwing at you right now. Just let me know, man, because I don't know. It's interesting to get new perspectives of all this and, different viewpoints during this time. Never tried acid. I have tried acid, Burzum. There's just no, I don't think there's DMT in acid, right? It's just LSD. I have tried acid though. I tripped in a cabin. It was pretty sweet. Pretty good time. Vaped freebase DMT is different only in the sense that you go from baseline. Yeah. That it's hard to fall into the new state of being lots of panic usually. Yeah, exactly, right? There it's just like a 0 to 100 in 6 seconds or whatever it is. And I don't think I could handle that right now in my life. Maybe I'm off, but I it's just too intense. Like the idea of it is even too intense for me. So, uh I don't know. It's a little too spooky for me at the current moment. I think it's one of those things though that like you have to kind of take advantage of if it does cross your path. At least that's what I've heard from people that do take it and don't have the source readily available. It's like a lot of people's stories seem to start with, so my buddy asked me if I wanted to smoke DMT. You know, it wasn't I planned this out for a month or anything like that. It's just more of a boom, we're going. Which I guess is synonymous with what the experience is like too. Burzum, you use tobacco in your glass pipe a couple times a day. Nicotine is a neurogenesis, from my knowledge. How is that? I used to smoke cigarettes and I had to stop. You know, I did it for 2 years and it definitely flared up my asthma. I did it while I was at school at university, so it was kind of like a social part of me as well. But I know just smoking fresh tobacco leaf or, you know, whatever it is before it gets all those chemicals is a lot better for you. And I mean, nicotine is a there's good effects to nicotine, right? There's been studies for nicotine. Acid is nice, more of a guilty habit. Yeah, dude, I've only really had, truthfully, like 2 or 3 trips of acid. Other than that, I've microdosed it. I feel like the energy to be like a little like glitchy. That's not a good description at all. But I don't know. It's cool. I guess the best way to say it is like it's cool. I don't think unless you take a big dose or like something that I would be too scared to take, you wouldn't be able to have like the aha moments that mushrooms provide. But I don't know on that either. I just kind of talking out of my ass, but for me at least, that's what I'm thinking would be the case. I've only taken like 150 mics, I think is the most I've done. I know people that probably in this chat have done much more, but I never felt the urge to do it. AR, what's up, buddy? Thanks for chiming in. It is the best roller coaster ever. I think you were typing during when I was talking about DMT. Yeah, dude, people say it's incredible, and I don't know. I was talking about this over the weekend actually with my family, with my siblings, about whether or not that's something I would want to do. And I think it's just one of those things that like I think it's a substance you want to do once in your lifetime. So, although I've done mushrooms and you can kind of make the claim that, you know, that is DMT in edible form, I think smoking DMT would be obviously a much different wild ride that I think at least once in my life I'd like to experience. That goes along with ayahuasca too. Hello, how are you doing? Thanks for tuning in and letting us know you're here. I hope you're having a tremendous evening. Where are you tuning in from? Burzum, yeah, smoking is bad in general because of the lung aspect. I use pipe tobacco, so it's much more clean, but still smoking will always have the negative effects. Yeah, I mean, smoking weed, right? Like you're still inhaling CO2, right? Isn't that what it? I think that's in an article I actually just read this morning. At the end of it all, is you're still getting smoke into your lungs, which isn't the most natural thing, but it's just like the chemicals that you want to try to avoid. And I'd actually like, I wouldn't be opposed to trying the pipe form of tobacco. Like I really missed smoking, the act of smoking, and I eventually like couldn't smoke weed, THC, because the what is the word I'm looking for here? Psychoactive component of it was too much for me, like too much anxiety and too much paranoia. So I just now got back into smoking CBD, which has just been awesome. And, you know, I can smoke a good amount of it. I can roll up a joint and just enjoy it. So I wouldn't mind trying the tobacco though. I do like the head high that you get from tobacco is quite nice. Acetyl L-carnitine is used for mental performance, and L-carnitine is for fat loss. Okay, so I mean that stuff is probably in like those fat burners. I'm assuming, like hydroxycuts and all that. Could be I could be completely off. Yeah, I was totally. Yeah, I was, and it's totally worth finding it out, or at least for me it was. Yeah, AR, like I said, it's like I think it's one of those things that you should have at least once in your lifetime, to experience the other side. I wouldn't mind waiting though until I'm much older. I wouldn't mind that. I think it could be. I think at any point in your life it could be incredibly valuable, and I think like as life goes on and you know you gain new responsibilities or whatever, you're gonna need something to delodge you from the routine lifestyle or whatever that you kind of break down into. You're gonna need something that's powerful that can rip you out of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if later on that gets presented. But I also think that these substances don't come into your life and by pure chance that frequently. So a lot of it, it's like when it does come about, it's time. Or I don't look at anything really as coincidence. That could just be me though. Josh Williams, have you tried Kratom? Yeah, dude. I actually, the first episode ever of Help Find the Others podcast, I came on to talk about Kratom, and I've always been a decent proponent of it. I've stopped taking it just recently because of its side effects. I felt like the mental side effects of it, like the day after or 2 days after, were a little bit too much for me. I try to keep like a balanced, even keel approach to things. So anything that sways me from that course, I try to stay away from. So, but I do love Kratom. It feels amazing. It can be used as such a energetic and stimulating compound. Like it can cure things. It can responsibly be used. And yeah, I mean, just because it's not for me at the moment doesn't mean it won't be for me later on down the road. But I do love it. Do you have any experience with it, Josh? And if so, what's your favorite? What's your go-to strain? I really liked the greens, but eventually it started making me feel weird. And then I went reds, and I stayed with the reds because it was a little bit less of a feeling. Have you ever had problems with derealization or depersonalization from weed or other psychs? I get it bad from weed, so I can't smoke anymore. Oh, from Ireland. You also like the CBD weed. Well, first of all, thanks for tuning in from Ireland. I really appreciate it. Is it, I have no idea what time it is there, but regardless, thank you for tuning in. I don't think I've had depersonalization. What is depersonalization? When you feel like you're not yourself? Is that it? I've had derealization though, where you kind of are questioning what's real, right? And you're getting those like paranoia mindsets, and that's the exact reason why that's why I stopped smoking. And like, I think from what I've learned, at least in my own experience, is that it seems you need to be out in nature to really, really enjoy smoking weed. For me, I have an overactive mind, so I need to be either doing something or just being out in nature. Like those two things go well with weed for me. But if I'm just like indoors watching Netflix, I can't enjoy weed. I used to be able to. I used to love it. But I don't know. I start thinking too much, or I start worrying too much, or get distracted. And then at some point, I'm just like lost in my own thoughts, and I get socially awkward, and I just don't really become myself. So if that's depersonalization, I'm right there with you. What about your experience though? You said you got it pretty bad from weed, so you can't smoke anymore. What was your experience like in that regard? Because that shit is scary. Like it's weird when you go from enjoying something as much as I was in weed with my friends to the weirdness of it, man. And it was really unenjoyable and took me by shock. Oh, you smoked DMT when you turned 30, AR. That's incredible. I'm right around the corner on that as well. So who knows if that's the time. I would love to hear more about your story though with that. Did you do like the 3 big puffs, I think is what it is, right? Three big inhales. Burzum said, I specifically like that effect of depersonalization and being a little scared on weed. Dude, yeah. For me, it was having a bad trip for like 8 months. Yeah. Burzum, I actually talked to my girlfriend about that because she's a big time smoker, loves weed. And she likes that part of it too. She likes the depersonalization and the shakiness of it, right? And like the loss control component of it. I think she lives like a pretty controlled life, or she, in a good way, right? She's like, she has her shit in order and very organized, right? So I think like that release of being a little scared and like of letting go is what she really enjoys of it. And she also has told me like once you learn to work with that, you're able to enjoy it again and get the benefits. But for me right now, where I'm at is the depersonalization, or the percentage of not enjoying it is too much, where eventually I want to get to be 50-50 or even 80-20, where I'm enjoying it too. It's scaring me a little bit. I know it'll come with time because it's something that I love for years, but I do think the thing for me is that it makes me think of things I haven't done yet. It makes me think of things that I have that are great ideas. It could be working out, eating healthy, things like that. And it's just like, all right, so why aren't you doing it? It almost like puts me in my body to the point that I can't ignore goals or distractions. It's not a bad thing. It's just that I'm so far behind those that like it spooks me, right? It's like, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go. And it's kind of like a voice in my mind just telling me to go. And I'm at the meantime, I'm just trying to chill, it's kind of counterproductive. But I think what I'm doing to enjoy it, or get to the point that I can enjoy it, is working on myself and working towards my goals. And then at some point when I'm in harmony with my goals and my spiritual goals or physical goals or all of them, I think I'll be able to enjoy smoking then, because it's like, all right, you accomplish these things, now you can chill, right? And that's where I want to get to. So it's more of like a carrot in front of me than anything at this point. Yeah, you said that it was like having a bad trip for like 8 months. I'm sorry to hear that. This sounds horrible. I've had similar thoughts though, where it's like, where I didn't know it was the weed that was causing the problem at the moment, so I kept smoking and kept having bad experiences, and it took me a while to learn that. 2:11 a.m. Thank you for tuning in again. Thanks for staying up late. AR, I would like to say that over this last year, I've transformed from a creature of darkness into a truly shining and brilliant person to have around. That is awesome. And then about your DMT experience. It was on top of weed, and I smoked quite a bit, kind of on repeat until I broke through. And the sudden change from crazy colors and geometry to being in a museum tour with obelisks as guards. Yes. That's all I can say to that is just yes. That sounds absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so you changed from dark to a bright person. That's incredible. What have you noticed? Has like your relationships, have people told you that you've made a massive change, or is it just something that you realize? Because I've noticed like when I do microdoses that I will have a brighter and more positive thought pattern going on in my mind, and that will produce better speech, better ways of saying what I'm trying to say or conveying emotion. I feel like it's that, but that obviously mine's on a very, very small scale, and that's something that is a life-changing experience. But what made you realize that you've changed completely? You said you were convinced at one point I was the only thing that existed, and everything was just in my mind. Kind of like your brain takes in all the same sensory inputs, but can't formulate it into a coherent world. Anyways, you're good now. Hey, okay. And you said thanks, glad you don't have the same experience. I'm not sure if you're talking to me or somebody in the chat, but I've had that same thought, and that's actually something that I talked to with my brothers over the weekend. Was having the thought that everything is just a product of your mind, right? We have these brains that are perception centers, and everything gets filtered through them. So why wouldn't it be the case that it's all made up in a sense? But just knowing that somebody else has had that thought kind of makes that go away, makes that reality go away, because it's like everybody's so complex, and we're just never going to be able to really understand it, maybe until after all this is done. I don't think there's anybody that can scientifically really understand all this. But I'm very, very glad that you're good now. What did you do to kind of get out of the funk? Did you change anything up, or go towards new goals, or go a different direction, or what happened? I'd love to hear. That's so true. I'm super critical all the time, and strong weed like takes it to its breaking point. I get a nice window of feeling great after the scared window. Dude, yeah, that's exactly the case. I actually, I was, hold on, X this out. I was accidentally, I roll joints for my girlfriend and myself, and I'll roll myself CBD and her just regular weed. And one morning I went to grab my joint, and I accidentally grabbed hers. And I went through that like panic phase of like knowing it was coming and feeling the effects, and I just wasn't prepared, right? And but the crazy thing is like after 20-30 hour of that, you get to that breakthrough point, and you're just like, oh, nice. And like I went for a run, I did yoga, I ate good, made a good meal, like. So I don't know, like I wish there was a way to avoid that. I don't know how. That probably just comes with experience, though. Trimmer Life, thanks for tuning in, buddy. I think if I recall correctly, I think you've tuned into a previous live stream, so thank you for tuning in again. As an empath, weed can make me take in way too much of other shit, that it's way too overwhelming. I'm with you, Stahn, and that I need to be in nature. Yeah, Trimmer. I totally get that as well. That's another component that I completely forgot about, where it's like, for me, the last thing I realized was thinking about a conversation before it even occurred. And during the conversation, thinking about what's next. Right? And it's just like, you're not even there. It's like you're trying to be a step ahead. It's like this weird game your brain tricks you into playing. But when you're in nature and you're enjoying it, it's like, and especially alone, you just get lost in the colors and the adventure, and you're looking at this tree, that tree, you're feeling the soil, or poking around at mushrooms, or hearing animals off in the distance, and it's a completely submersive experience that's entirely real. I think that's important. It's not like it's a VR headset you're really putting on. But I agree, the empath thing, where it's like, you're thinking about other people's lives, their energy is really weighing on you as well. It's a crazy thing. I mean, and all this occurred, the big shift in THC consumption for me was after a major mushroom dose that just switched things up, and I was able to kind of redefine what things were and how they affected me. And I think one of the things that changed was the enjoyment of weed. Waking up in the morning changed from, oh God, why this place and this life, and transformed into, oh, what a glorious day in the universe. Thanks for allowing this to exist. That's beautiful, AR. That's awesome. I've had that same realization from mushrooms as well. For me, it lasted about 2 to 3 months. I have no idea about the lingering effects of DMT. I hope it's a lifelong of that feeling, though, because that's what we're striving towards. I feel is that the bliss and the blissful feeling. I missed it. Did you already talk about Kratom? Yeah, Josh, I talked about it a little bit. I just said that I haven't been taking it recently. I stopped taking it probably a month or two ago. I had bad depressive thoughts like 2 days after I'd take a dose, or a day after I'd take a dose, and it would mess up my sleep. So those two things put together, it just wasn't worth it. The cons outweighed the pros. But I do love it. I still do love it. It's just not for me right now. Have you had any experience with that? With Kratom? And if so, what's your favorite strain? Those, yeah, I know. It's turtles all the way down, right? Those same people who had the same, those other people who had the same thought could be a product of your imagination as well, though. Yeah, I agree. But at some point there's a cutoff, right? I don't know. At some point you have to draw the line somewhere. I don't know. There's definitely like a balance, a yin and a yang to like madness and enlightenment. And I think if you can tightrope in between those two, you're in a great place. But it's a dangerous place, but it's like it's phenomenal. I've only really feel like I've experienced that yin and yang feeling once before for about a month. I think I just waited and it got better. Just try to stay calm with it because panicking about it makes it worse. Yeah, it is. It's one of those things where when the paranoia kicks in, you just gotta breathe. You know, it's like a panic attack, but it's existence. And you just gotta breathe and let it happen and feel it. That is the big thing for me too, I think, is that I wasn't allowing myself to feel certain things or feel certain emotions for whatever reason. If I thought that they were something that made me appear weak or, you know, whatever those stupid delusions are that go in our minds. But as long as you make yourself feel it, it's crazy because it comes and goes like that and you feel a ton better than just holding on to it forever. Josh Williams said, have you ever tried L-tyrosine? It's great as a natural stimulant. I have not. I feel like that's something that's in like a Monster Energy drink though, so maybe I have tried it. Sounds like one of those things at least. You definitely have to be in the right state of mind for a specific drug, and then everyone is so unique. Yeah, I mean, set and setting can be applied to any substance you put in yourself. I mean, it can go all the way down to coffee. You know, you want to be in a position where you got something to do, or you want to wake up. You know, the set and setting for coffee is not half hour before you go to bed. So it's just like everything can be taken responsibly, and I think that is kind of the way to attract more people to alternative medicines and alternative routes to cure their ailments is like, yeah, you're going to hear the horror stories, but make sure you check into the 99% of people that take it responsibly and enjoy it. And I think that's a way of like shifting people's perspectives. But you're right. You know, every specific drug has a specific state of mind that you should take it in. Have you ever tried L-theanine? It's great for anxiety and sleep. It stacks great with caffeine. Yeah, I have taken L-theanine. I actually have right here. I don't know if that's zooming in or focusing or whatever, but I actually have the supplement right there. Yeah, I like it a lot. I taken it for sleep. Mixed with THC in the form of like a Pressy pill. It was like actually a something that you could buy in Colorado when I was there. I bought it and it was awesome for sleeping. I had really, really great sleep. But I also have taken it with caffeine in the morning in a 2-to-1 ratio where it was like 200 milligrams of L-theanine and a cup of coffee, which is average of about 100 milligrams. And gave me good focus. The only problem that I had with it was I felt like I was too energized, but I don't know if that was due to like a strong coffee or what the situation really was there. I still have some though. I have it in powder and in capsules. I'll take it occasionally before bed because I actually have a supplement of melatonin that has L-theanine in it. So when I saw that that was a combination that was actually being sold and marketed by like good it was like a good company. I think it was like Nature's Blend or something that was respected. When I saw that that was a combination, I started toying with that as well. Use Kratom for 6 months straight before. It was great. I still use it in moderation now. Yeah. How was the 6 months straight? I've done something similar, not during that same time period of 6 months, but taking it every day, multiple times a day for a couple weeks in a row. I've had that experience, and it's great, but it's like you have to keep going, right? You have to keep, there's no end to it. You have to keep going, and yeah. What's your favorite drug-related memory? Oh, before I get to that, Josh's final thing said, but you still use it in moderation now. Yeah, that's the most important part with that stuff. Because you can get psychologically, and I'm not sure there's no studies on the physical dependency of it, but you can get psychologically dependent and addicted to it. So it's important to take it responsibly, document it when you take it so that you can refer back before you dose again. There's a couple of different ways of doing that. My favorite drug-related memory. That's an excellent question. There's just so many. I mean, for me, it has to be something when I was able to enjoy weed and THC. When I was smoking in university with like my buddies and just goofing off, right? And just like being kids. Like that has to be my favorite drug related memory. The thing with like down the road, like when psychedelics came into play in my life, the thing with those is that it allowed me to create an entirely new existence, where I brought forward the good things about my old personality and then left the rest in the back. And I don't really think that's a memory. I just think that's ongoing, right? I think integration with psychedelics is an ongoing experience for a lifetime, really. But memory-wise, like specific memories, it has to be just like smoking, chilling with my buddies, playing video games, going to class even, or late nights, just having a couple beers and hanging out and smoking and partying. Yeah, that's it for me, hands down. For at least at this point, it could always change. What about you, Em? Or what about everybody in this chat? I'd love to hear everybody's favorite drug-related memory. That's an awesome question. I'm gonna have to start using that in the podcast episodes. AR also have to add having prescription ketamine is pretty convenient as well to having like an overflowing cup of positivity. So AR, you are prescribed ketamine, or have you gone to try it out, like to clinics? I haven't. I've seen that it's more and more widely accepted nowadays, and a lot of more studies are being done on it for multiple reasons, not just psychological matter, but also pain relief, and there's a ton of different things that's coming up with ketamine. And the reason why is because it's being tested, so we need to get to testing more of these substances so we can find their use. They all can't be illegal. But is that what you're also taking? You're partnering the DMT with ketamine, or you did the DMT and now you're regularly taking ketamine? Because that sounds quite nice. Exotica, what's up? What's up, friend? Thank you for tuning into the chat. You asked Josh William, but I can answer this one too. What's your preferred way to take Kratom? I love the effects, but the taste is gnarly. So the best way to go about taking it is buying a pill press. There's a little bit of the overhead cost. It's probably like, you could probably go in for $15 or something on Amazon. Buy those, buy the veggie caps, and you'll be able to press them into capsules that just disintegrate in your stomach, and then the powder releases. I have tried the toss and wash method, and just tastes like you're like swallowing salt. Or sorry, swallowing like soil or like earth. Is there a Kratom extract? There is. I haven't heard good experiences or results with it, but there is oil that's Kratom extract. But like I said, I wouldn't recommend it. Excuse me. You said sounds like good times. Yeah, mine is probably getting drunk with my friends. Yeah, it's just you can't beat those moments, it's like, I don't know, as you get older, at least what I've experienced is like you always want to go back to that feeling, or you're trying to recreate that pure bliss feeling. So what's up, Rising Tide? Thanks for tuning in. How's your evening going? Where are you tuning in from? I like to take pure leaf powder, nice with water, and then down the hatch. Make sure to weigh your dose. Yeah, you gotta weigh your dose when it comes to that. You like the pure leaf powder though, huh? It doesn't dissolve in water, so that causes issues. When I first was introduced to Kratom, the place I bought it at was a Kratom shop, actually, strictly Kratom. Now they've done Kratom and CBD, but when they were strictly Kratom, the person behind the table told me to use orange juice instead of water, and it helps break it down better, and then the taste isn't as much. And I mean, that works for me. I mean, if you're not into getting a pill press and capsules, I would try the orange juice. It's a strong, pungent taste, and it kind of overpowers the soil taste. Burzum, my best time on drugs were with THC and alcohol, playing games and skating around town with friends back in the day. Yeah, the nostalgia of it too is just incredible. But it's like back when there was like an innocence tied to smoking weed, and there was like the you're getting away with it type feel. Like it was like so cool. It was more than just smoking and chilling. It was just like we're doing something bad, but it's awesome at the same time. I don't know. AR, I would like to say that as silly as this sounds, but was the Doom OST and 7 grams of mushrooms in a dark room with headphones, it was the most fun experience. Doom OST, is that the video game Doom? Let me Google that real quick. That on 7 grams of shrooms sounds quite intense though. Oh, is that the soundtrack? The Doom soundtrack? And 7 grams of mushrooms? That sounds crazy, man. My last trip I did, I definitely didn't do 7 grams, but I took like a little bit less than 2 grams, and I did, I listened to strictly instrumental music, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Just like human created, that's not the way to say it, human played instrumentals. It was no electronically produced anything. It was just like, concert classical instrumentals, and it just let my mind wander off, and it was awesome. I highly suggest. It's what they use. It's what Johns Hopkins uses in their studies. So I like to think that that's an okay thing, and it's what MAPS uses. Rising Tide, nice evening in California. Thanks for hosting the stream. Of course. Thanks for tuning in. I mean, the stream wouldn't be something unless all of you came in. So thank you for tuning in. Where are you at in California? North, south, central? Somewhere in between? I have a couple family members out there. I need to check out California, actually. I have, I've always thought about going to Joshua Tree. And I actually have a buddy in San Francisco, and then a couple of family members around the state. But I need to check it out. I love Colorado, and people say that there's places in Northern California that have the Colorado feel, but also the ocean right there too, which would be incredible. Josh, you're saying, in your opinion, Kratom feels stronger when it's mixed with water. I could see that. It's more of a process then, so it's like the struggle is part of the end result, I think. Like, when I take Kratom with water, it's 100% chance that I'm gagging. I can't do it. I don't know what it is, I just can't do it. But in capsules, it's no problem, I could do like 2 capsules or whatever and get great feeling. Oh, AR, yeah, it was the Doom soundtrack from 2016. Pretty awesome, and left you with a adrenaline dump that you slept and had some pretty awesome dreams afterwards. That's great. That's incredible. Yeah, the swells in music can be so intense on any psychedelic, weed included. They're already intense just in everyday life, right? So it's like you can feel the music and then take a substance that increases your feeling, and it's just times a million. Second, I gotta get back to somebody on the Discord. I also want to post the Discord invite channel to everybody. If anybody's looking to join the community, it's entirely free. For people that don't know what Discord is, it's basically a localized chat room. So we have like the Help Find the Others Discord, and there's different branches of chat room, of text chat below that. And it's just really great. There's a link if anyone wants to join. But you can participate as you please. It's entirely free. And that's where we post everything that we do on this channel and more. So, but I have to get back to this. Oh, Burzum, you gotta go. You love the live streams. We're gonna keep doing the live streams, buddy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I believe you were the one that got the chat going. So, can't thank you enough. Have a great evening. Get some good sleep in you. And yeah, thank you again. Be on the lookout. We'll keep doing these live chats. So, definitely be on the lookout. Oh, Kenny, sending love our way. Good to see you on live. Super active chat right now. Yeah, man, I'm extremely blessed to have a great chat right now. We ran a poll on our community page to see like what's the best time for people to tune in, and not only tune in but participate. And right around this time, a little bit, maybe 2-3 hours ago, was the prime time. But I wanted to hop on and see, and it's been great so far. This is a super thank you for tuning in, though. Are you going to be doing a live stream soon? I checked your page and I was going to post it in here, but I didn't see anything scheduled. I want to hear about your like camping trip and everything, though. What's your M asked me, what's your opinion on MDMA? Any cool experiences? I have not done any MDMA or MDMA alternative. I'm not opposed to that, though. My girlfriend has, and a lot of my friends have, but I've never had the experience or the opportunity. I've never really sought it out. You should let me know if you've had any experiences, though. I'd love to hear about it. I've heard very, very curing and healing properties of it. So that sounds great to me, right? So like, I don't know. I would love to try it, though. I do fear the dump the next day. That's what's always talked about. But I feel like in a controlled environment that I'm prepared in, I think it could be a pretty great experience. Josh, you're saying you've had plenty of times where you've left a cup of Kratom in water, and a couple hours later I would drink it, and it felt twice as strong. I wonder what that is. Because Kratom is non-soluble, is non-water soluble. It does not dissolve into water, I don't believe. I remember the FDA, when they were trying to shut down Kratom, tried to claim that people were injecting it into their veins. And the AKA, the American Kratom Association, came back and said, like, it is not dissolvable in water. There's no way that you can, you'd die. You'd inject a solid into your vein. And that's just, not good. Oh, the Doom OST was pretty intense metal mixed in with industrial, but no singing. So we had no distractions really from the tempo. That's awesome, dude. Like I've actually talked to Kenny about this before on the live chat, but I've had it where like I associate with the lyrics that are being said way too much, and I like find the correlations between the lyrics and my life, and it distracts me from the full experience, the full trip. So I think going forward, I'm just going to keep doing instrumental music. I still love singing like songs with voice, and I can't say I'm going to do instrumental forever, but I think for like my next one, I'll do instrumental. And just, I love how it allows your mind to completely wander and like fill in the blanks. Great idea, bro. Yeah, you got to do that for yours too. I mean, you have a great audience though for your live chats, Kenny. Yeah, you really can just schedule it and there'll be people waiting for you. I'm thinking about it probably tomorrow. Just been a weird headspace. Definitely an existential crisis. I'm sorry to hear that, dude. I mean, the good thing about that is normally after an existential crisis, you kind of come to conclusions that are there reasons for existing, right? Or at least that's been my experience with it. And I hope you can find those. And I do think, though, that the community of your live stream can help you through whatever. It's a very, very supportive community that you've cultivated. So if you bring problems to the table there, you're going to have a million suggestions that hopefully one of them will stick and help you out. I hope you're doing soon, though, buddy. And I hope you feel better. If you need anything, you know you got my number. You got my number, you got my email. So reach out to me if you need anything. I've had quite a few experiences on MDMA. It's basically pure euphoria for around 4 hours. It can be quite healing. Makes it way easier to open up to people. It feels impossible not to. Hugs feel good on it. You haven't really gotten any come downs. Yeah, I think that's just like a fear tactic to it. And for some reason I've bought into it, probably because I've never done it. Or maybe if you don't get something that's pure, potentially, I could see that having a bad come down. But yeah, isn't that it? Like they use MDMA, pure MDMA for veteran PTSD, treatment resistant PTSD, I believe, because it's like that one area in the veteran's mind that they can't talk about, right? So taking that opens that valve up so that they can say and heal. That's what I've read about it. I don't have any knowledge of direct experience from anyone, but it is what I'm reading from the studies. I could see myself taking it, and as long as I'm with a loved one, I could see it being incredibly healing. I would not be opposed to that. Have you ever used psilocybin and an MAOI? I have not. I know what you're talking about, though. And I actually have Syrian Rue with me that Ruben passed along. If I ever do want to take that. For those who don't know, MAOI is what I think is used in ayahuasca that allows you to process some of that drink and experience the hallucinatory effects, if I'm not mistaken. Let me grab some water real quick. But I've never done the two combined. Ruben did it, and we actually did a podcast about it, but he said that it produced some pretty wild visuals, and the visuals were close-eyed, and they stayed there. They were like always there. It was like 5 hours after the trip, and he would still close his eyes, and it would still be like snakes, and I think he said he saw jesters. If I recall correctly. You've used psilocybin and Syrian the seeds, which yeah, that's what Ruben did. I think you have to take the Syrian Rue a couple hours beforehand on like an empty stomach so that it's like peaking at the same time as the mushrooms are. But no, I think mushrooms are kind of meant to be untouched, or I shouldn't say meant to be untouched. For me, that's what I'd like to subscribe to. Like the idea that it's a natural thing and, you pick it out in nature and it is what it is. So I don't really feel the need to intensify that experience because it's already intense in itself. I have smoked on mushrooms before and that creates a whole different thing. But even smoking on mushrooms distracted me from the actual trip experience of psilocybin. So the past 2 times that I've taken psilocybin, I've taken it just by itself. It's been pretty nice. I do think though, like the THC edible or doing like a CBD THC edible beforehand could be really, really powerful if you timed it right. Just because CBD and THC seem to just put you into your body, right? And then the psilocybin's doing the job of taking you out of your mind. So it's like a compound effect of all those things coming together and just existence in the moment. I don't know. I've always had the idea of taking CBD before a mushroom trip. I thought about actually taking Kratom before a mushroom trip just for that like body high and the calmness, but I never got around to it. I didn't want to like waste a mushroom trip if that's even a thing. Or I guess disrespect the mushroom. Can you ask him if he heard a crazy overwhelming noise when he took it? Yeah, Josh. And I mean, if you go to that Discord link I sent, I'm not sure if you joined or not. I know somebody joined here. But you can go to the Discord. He's always on the Discord. You could ask him too. He's super talkative and he loves meeting new people and talking about his own experiences and hearing about yours. You could also email him. I'll post the email right here too. That's his email. I don't know. I'd have to skim through the podcast episode just because he was fresh off of it. I think it was like the next day that we recorded it. So it's called Psilowaska. If you want to Google like help find the other Psilowaska, it'll pop up on YouTube. And he recounts his experience quite vividly. And I'm sure if there was a sound, he would have brought that part up. I just can't recall. It was a pretty long way ago. Syrian rue by itself is great for fighting depression. I've heard that too. I've heard that it has pretty wild effects by itself as well. Oh, you're heading out. It's almost 3 a.m., so you're gonna go to sleep. I haven't seen this live stream before, but I really like the calm energy of everyone here. Have a good one. Thank you for tuning in, especially from Ireland in the middle of the night. I really, really appreciate it, and I do believe you joined the Discord. So I look forward to talking to you there. And we'll have more of these soon, so be on the lookout. And thanks for creating the calm energy here. You were part of that. So have a great sleep, and hopefully we'll talk again soon. But Josh, you're saying Syrian rue by itself is great for fighting depression. Me and Ruben talked about the effects of taking it by itself, and I know that I know it's something that's done. You know, it's not just a crazy idea that hasn't been tested. I know that people do take it for similar effects. I do need to do more research on that though, because I have it. I just haven't gotten around to taking it. But let me know if everyone's has any other questions they want to talk to me about. Oh, Becca got in here. What's up, Natural Born? How's your evening going? Hope you're having a great night. Hopefully you and Derek and the rest are doing great. Thank you so much for tuning in and coming in the chat and saying what's up. And thanks everybody for tuning in and making this what it has been, and I'll probably keep going for a little bit longer. You guys are all down for that, have ideas that you want to share. How's everybody doing coming out of this quarantine though? For a while there we would always talk about, you know, what are we gonna do in the quarantine. What's everybody doing as they're coming out of it? It's quite nice, I think. Hopeful that we don't have to re-quarantine or anything like that, but oh, you're in bed and D says what's up. What's up, D? I'm happy that you two tuned in. I really appreciate it. Time to start testing. What do you mean by that, Josh? I'm sweating so much in here. My office has no windows, no air conditioning. And I got a bright light in front of me and this old ass computer that's just throwing off heat. But I'm here and I love having everybody here as well. It's been great so far. But yeah, coming out of this, it's like coming out of a funk, kind of. It's like, well, we got a chance to reset. We were in the middle of something that we didn't really want to be in, but we navigated through. Now's the chance to kind of get back after it and work towards whatever you're working towards, I feel. Have you ever tried Area Gerensis extract? I have not, Josh. Let me Google that though. What's that one all about? You got the whole freaking botanical garden figured out over there. What is that? Focus and clean energy, great mood, well-being enhancer. Interesting. Wish I could have noticed this earlier, but we are here. Put the fan on high. If you can hear, I don't know if you can hear the fan, but it's not even a fan. It's a freaking air filter. So I'm just screwed right here. I'm struggling, but I honestly don't mind it at all. I really don't care. I'm just happy to be doing this and happy to have everybody in here chatting. Oh, King, what's up? Happy to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for chatting. Coming out of quarantine feels like coming back from summer break in grade school. Yeah, yeah, right? It's like, all right, time to get back on the grind. Time to get back into it. That is a good way of looking at it. It's like the quarantine was like a global summer break. That's crazy. That's wild. Other than essential workers, they didn't have it, but I never thought of it like that. That's a great way of putting it. How have you been though? I'm happy that you decided to chime in and tune in and say what's up. Time to start testing new compounds and herbs. Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad idea. I get scared on like the uncharted compounds or the ones that don't have too much experience. I don't want to like fuck my shit up too much, you know, for lack of a better word. Your life didn't change very much. Yeah, I know where you live is kind of they've kind of been lenient with their closing down of everything natural born. But yeah, it is fortunate, but honestly, I didn't mind the break. Like I live a pretty sheltered, or not sheltered, but I work from home, you know, I run my own business. And I mean, honestly, like the really the only thing that I wasn't able to experience was going to baseball games because I'm a big baseball fan. But other than that, like I still feel like the relief of everybody just chilling out and not having to do something was a good thing. I know in a lot of circumstances, like a lot of people are paycheck to paycheck. I am as well. Fortunately, unemployment came in for me, but there is a silver lining to it all. I guess is a conscientious way of putting it. Only thing you couldn't do was go roller skating. Yeah, they shut that down. Yeah, I've been going biking. Um, that's what me and my girlfriend have been doing. We got our bikes tuned up and fixed, and I'm a big bike rider, so they they shut down the lakefront, whereas like that's the best area to bike ride or go for a run or whatever. Excuse me, but they still have different areas, and like going down city streets is always fun, and traffic's not crazy, so you can explore more. So I don't know. It's just been nice getting outside. Been real squishy from all this madness in the world lately. Barely able to stay sane and alive, to be honest. Yeah, yeah. I think everybody is a little bit squishy. That's a good adjective for it. I tried to detach from it all, the craziness of it all. It's been wild, and I don't know if paying attention to the craziness and wildness is always the best thing to do. I think it's important to detach but also stay informed, and finding the balance there is the key. What team of baseball? I am a Chicago White Sox fan. I actually own season tickets for them. I'm a big fan of theirs. I've been my whole life too. Start with low doses. Yeah, Josh, I guess that's the way of doing it, right? That's the way of experimenting with new things. And I mean, people like you that are okay with it are entirely important, because you're on the frontier of discovering new things that can help people. So I really appreciate the work that you do, you know, finding out new compounds and trying them out. But it's not for me, man. I can't, for some reason, I just can't do it. I can't pull the trigger on it. Everyone should came out of the quarantine with a new skill. Mine has been the deep dive in studying CBD and kind of obsessed with CBD. Yeah, I know you love the CBD now. Yeah, the new skill thing. That's what it was at the beginning, right? I remember seeing in April, seeing on Twitter, like, if you don't come out of this with a new skill, like something's wrong with you, not with the world, or something like that. It was a bit of an aggressive take, but similar idea. And I don't know. I think everybody needed a moment to chill too. I don't know. Like I didn't necessarily come out with a new skill. I can't say. I do think I came out with a new mindset, you know, but I can't say that I've pinned down a skill. I am taking online courses. I see people here talking about studying during the pandemic. I've just started taking online courses. They were free through the state, so Josh, you and King both said that you were studying. Where were you guys studying? In a university setting or a school setting, or was it just self-education? I've gone the self-education route with what I've been trying to do. I'm trying to further my skills in front-end website development currently, so that I can offer more as a partner of a business. That's kind of my goal. And then I'm also sprinkling in some like fun stuff on the side that I kind of want to learn about, new languages, things like that. We'll see where it goes, though. It takes a lot of discipline to self-educate. Oh, AR, you're an Oakland A's fan? Okay, I can honor that. I feel like we both are struggling. We've both gone through the struggle a couple of times, right? My cousin's my cousin used to live in Oakland, and she's initially from this area, and she'd always go whenever the White Sox played them. You have the American flag version of the Sox hat. I don't think I've seen that. The Sox logo is just like so clean. Like, it's well respected throughout history. I can't say enough about the team, though. I love them. Looking into being a cannabis coach or cannabis nurse. Are those viable occupations? Because sign me up. That sounds phenomenal. Cannabis coach. It's catchy. Like those things are like, you have to chart your own path kind of thing, right? So you have to do your own marketing, find clients, all of that. But I think it's a great idea. I mean, especially the nurse. The science component is what convinces so many people. So it's like entirely important to spread that. Like I'm a big experiential learner, but I do think 60% of people look for maybe not that many, but I do think at least the majority look for like scientific backup before they try something. You know, it's not like a dipping a toe in and feeling it out for yourself. What would your job entail with the cannabis coach or cannabis nurse? And Josh and King, what subjects have you guys been studying? I'm always interested in learning new things, or learning new perspectives. Excuse me, seeing what other people are interested in. I love that. I think I might go for about 10 more minutes, maybe. Be a nice hour and 45. If things pick back up, or if things keep going, I might go 2 hours, but we'll see. I love the weed laws in my state. There's a professional joint roller job that pays about $16.50 an hour. It comes with free weed. What? How? That's ridiculous. I mean, the cost of living in California is just immense, but with the amount of weed that I roll up for my girlfriend and the amount of CBD I roll up for myself, I'm ready. I got the fingers. I got the crazy fingers. Let me know. Send me the freaking job post on that shit, AR. My study has been self-driven, mostly just for the sake of learning more about everything. Yeah, one of the courses I looked into, or I enrolled in, was about the Internet of Things. And I mean, it's technology based, but it's similar, about learning about everything, and basically saying that someday technology will have its part and its role in every item created. So that's the Internet of Things in a very, very small nutshell. And sounds like you're kind of learning about that as well. Maybe not the technology side of it, though. Not sure what direction yet, but being in Canna-Space is my goal. Yeah, where you live, are there jobs for that? I don't know the laws where you live, Natural Born. I know you live, I just don't know the laws there. Oh, AR, you don't live in Cali. I'm sorry. I just assumed so with the being an Oakland A's fan. Where are you tuning in from? Sounds like it's one of those Oregon's, Washington, something like that, though, with a job of that nature. Maybe Colorado. There's a few certifications I need, and I can do those online. I'm working with a cannabis recruiter. Where are you finding these resources, Natural Born? You gotta hit me up. Message me on Discord about these things, because I would love to do a search with those cannabis recruiters for nearby myself, with things being recreationally legal nowadays. Live in both, but move often, but Oregon and Washington are the states. Yeah, man. I was going to say, you don't get a professional joint roller job unless your state's had it legal for quite some time now. I'm in Illinois, and I mean, weed is now recreational, but I feel like we almost outsource all of our weed, or it's hard to get a job in like Cresco Labs or whatever. I think that's a company that supplies a lot of the weed in the city. Medical use is legal here. Still searching for jobs, but there are some here. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's almost worth a move too. I don't know how rooted you are in where you are, but going after something like that, the dividends will pay with the time, and the experience, because you're going to enter in a space that's brand new, and 10 years down the road, you're going to be a standout candidate because you have a decades of experience that no one else has. Chemistry, biochemistry, sociology, and politics and economics. That's well-rounded, man. Is that university education, or are you doing that off free will? Can't find it in you to cheer for the Mariners. Yeah, I don't blame you. There's just a lot of hurt, I feel like, to be a Mariners fan. They aren't that good. It would have been cool to see Ichiro's last play, though, or last game. You would love it. I got you, natural born. The roots are hard to. It's hard to uproot where you're at. You know, it's hard to move anywhere. You can move down the street. It's still a challenge. Especially with work too, and if you have children. But yeah, Josh, are you studying those things online, or are you doing it in a university setting, or what are you doing? I'll go another 5 minutes though. Not because I don't love you guys, but just because like I'm sweating and I'm almost out of water, so I'll get to go out in air conditioning. But I mean, before those 5 minutes come and go, I really wanted to say I appreciate each and every one of you that's tuned in, and everyone that's chatted with me. This is the most engagement I've ever had, and I think a lot of it has to do with the poll that we created, but just a lot of people, a lot of good people, is what it is really the reason behind all this. So thank you all for tuning in. If there's any last minute topics, questions, ideas that you want to talk about, let me know. I mean, we got another 5 minutes to go through. I'm gonna work on posting some of the links in here. I already posted the Discord, the email. We're on Instagram, Twitter. I'll post that, I guess. We don't use them frequently, but that's what we are at. Best way to reach out to us is Discord, email, any of that. Thanks to the live, my dude. Thanks for the live audience. Really appreciate it, and no problem for doing this. I love engaging with people. It's a lot better than like talking to. Or I shouldn't say it's better than creating a podcast episode, but I like the one-on-one. To be honest, the areas that I live in feel. To be honest, the areas that I live in, I feel are enchanted because of how many magic mushrooms grow on the side of the road. Oh, on the side of the road. That's incredible. Have you picked any? Or do you just kind of let them be? I wouldn't be surprised if there's some energy going on with that, though. Your IG. Yeah, I think I followed you. Let me double check that, though. I think I did. I'll have to log in and see after this. I'm from Brookings, Oregon. I learned because I'm addicted to knowledge. I studied everything online. Not a bad addiction to have, right? Not a bad addiction to have. I have a problem with the discipline of self-educating myself. I can't find myself keep coming back to it for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's odd that like at the end of college or at the end of university, it's like, all right, you're done with learning. You know, I don't know. It's odd. I never thought I was done with learning, but I felt like I was done learning from like books and like hard in-depth concepts, and I really wish I didn't have that. I need to shake that opinion off so I can get back into learning new things. CBD education, yeah. I need to learn more about I see you posting on the Discord about the endocannabinoid system. I need to learn more about that. Is it pretty much uncharted, or is it something that we've known about and just haven't really talked about? I don't know enough about it. And like I also don't know if it's something that we just like created, right? And just said like, oh, this is something now. I don't know. I was trying to figure that all out. You've come out with some rather crazy finds. Dude, if there's magic mushrooms consistently growing near you, there's something going on there. You might want to bust out like the Geiger counter or something. I don't know what you could use to measure the energy levels. Late 90s, they discovered the endocannabinoid system. Okay. Here, I got a post. I was actually, I was on a podcast today that just got released with my good friend, Will from The Cosmic Giggle. And I'm going to go ahead and post a link to that real quick. It was an awesome episode. We just like went back and forth about topics, and I don't know, him and I have a pretty solid chemistry. But I do have to find the link to his podcast real quick. And he's another great guy too. Like if you like his podcast, definitely give him a follow. He's on YouTube as well as The Cosmic Giggle. There's a link to his podcast though that we just released today. It'll be the newest one. Oh, whoa, not having enough space in like a grocery bag and have to return home for a backpack. That is crazy. Do you catch morels at all? You guys have morels growing by you? Or is it just psilocybin? What's college like? That is a tough question. It's one of those things that you need to experience, you know? It's hard to say what it's like because everybody's experience is entirely unique. Mine went the party route, and I still did all right on grades, but I didn't really learn to understand. I learned to pass tests. But university is something entirely different for every person. Our body produces endocannabinoids, and THC and CBD are phytocannabinoids that mimic our endocannabinoids. Interesting. Yeah, I need some literature on that. Like if there's any text on it that's not like a website. Fall is way better than spring, but spring always brings in the Liberty caps, where it's full of cyans and azures. Probably mispronouncing both of those. But there are plenty of people that just go for edibles. Yeah, that's awesome. My brother's into morel foraging, actually, not just morels, but he went to try to find a morel a couple of times during the season when it was, and he struck out. But I mean, it's just I feel like it's one of those things that's like, there's no coincidence with morels, right? When you come across them, it's like a magical moment. When you come across any mushroom, it kind of is a magical moment, especially out in the wild. But anyways, I think I'm about to head out. I almost don't want to because I'm loving the conversation with all of you. But I need to cool off. I need to get a fan is what I really need to do. Next time around, I think I'll bring in a fan from another room into here. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that tuned in and made my night tremendous. And I went for an hour 45. Hopefully some night we can go a little bit longer. But thank you for everybody for tuning in and being a part of this. I really appreciate it. The plan is to have a new podcast episode this Saturday about UFOs. So be on the lookout for that. If not, I'm sure we'll be doing more live streams soon. So thank you again. I appreciate you all more than you know. Join the Discord. Say what's up in the Discord. Have a great night. Keep on rocking.